This is a special podcast presentation from 700WLW.com. This is Doc Thompson On Demand.
Oh, boy, I needed that laugh. I'm serious. I'm going to be laughing at Grand Rapids the whole time. We're going to get to State Rep Danny Buff in just a minute, talk about some of the issues going on in the General Assembly. Right now, though, Greg on a cell. How are you, sir?
All right, Doc, how are you?
I'm doing fine. You lived in Maine for a while?
I was in the Marine Corps, and I was stationed at the Marine Barracks in Brunswick, Maine.
I didn't know they had one up there. I didn't know they had a base there.
Yeah, it was an anti-submarine warfare base.
Oh, okay. What was Maine like? Quality of life good?
Loved it. If you like cold weather, there's no place in the world like it.
What are the summers like?
They get about 2 weeks, where 3 weeks they get the same stuff we get, hot and humid. But it's usually pretty nice. The nice thing about Maine is when it gets cold, though, it stays cold. So
it's not the up and down.
No, you get used to it. You'll see people out in January. It's 10 degrees outside, and they're walking around in sweatshirts and skull caps. They're acclimatized to it. They're not no problem with it.
Yeah, what I dislike about the cold is the up and down, where you're in and out, and then that creates the slop on the sides of the road. I hate that, and I hate the lack of sun. If it's sunny, listen, it could be 10 below. That wouldn't be my first pick, but I'm fine with it as long as it's sunny.
Well, one reason I called is you were talking about a guy walking across a room. If you got an Ohio hat on, like a red hat.
Yeah.
I'm driving up and down the road, every day, and finally the Brunswick police officer comes behind me and pulls me over. I'm in my brand new Monte Carlo with Ohio plates, and he comes up and he said, "I've been waiting for 3 weeks to pull you over." He said, "But you won't speed." And I said, "Well, I wasn't speeding this time." He said, "No, I just wanted to find out what part of Ohio you're from. I'm from Middletown."
Oh, jeez.
That's
funny.
I'm from Cincinnati, so yeah.
It's like that. I'm telling you, Greg. It's a bit of a cult. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. State Rep Danny Buff joins me now. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing well. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Glad to have you on. I want to get an update on some of the different gun legislation you've been working on, because a couple of weeks ago, I know House Bill 256 that dealt with guns in colleges, churches, daycare, and government buildings was a possibility. Is that still alive?
Well, I have not introduced anything. They had spoken to me in Columbus about that, some of the media, and I said, we've got folks out throughout the state that have been contacting me, other representatives, about wanting to move some different legislation forward, so we're looking at it. Probably the most recent thing that's got people's attention was the incident up in Canton, Ohio, with the police officer that had pulled some folks over. Did you see that video, Doc?
I only saw part of it, but that's the guy. He was going off on him. He was a cop.
He threatened to execute him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I would encourage your listeners to get the video. It's kind of went viral out on the YouTube and everything. But he unleashed just all this profanity at him, and then let's see. I've got it right here in front of me. I should blast you in the mouth right now. I'm so close to caving in your head. You're a stupid human being, and people like you deserve blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, it's just outrageous. This gentleman, if he's not fired for this, I mean, you don't want somebody out there carrying a gun, enforcing the laws, and then treating people like that.
Danny, I am always very supportive of law enforcement, and I say when there is a situation where it comes down to a police officer involved in an incident where there's no video and they're telling me here's what happened, I'm going to side with the police officer. I mean, we've charged them with that task, to protect and serve. But when a cop is involved in something, because we hold them to, we give them that extra authority and responsibility and respect, they also have to have a much severer punishment. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. So if this cop, if that's what happened and it's on video, you're right. I don't think this guy needs a job anymore.
Doc, there's no question. I mean, the police chief up there has apologized for the officer's conduct and so forth. But the bottom line is, this is on video. They've recorded it.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that this police officer went through this with a law-abiding citizen, that under law you have to tell the officer that you have a weapon. And, oh, my goodness, for those Second Amendment folks out there like myself that want to invoke our rights and be able to carry, it's outrageous what this officer did.
Was it because the guy was carrying that the officer went crazy and was flipping out on him?
That's my impression.
Okay.
Now, typically it's a he said, she said.
Right.
And unless you've got a video and an audio. In this case here, we've got both. The dash cam video recorded everything. And he says, how about you want me to pull my weapon and stick it to your head? And I don't know where he came off with that at, because the gentleman told him under law, I have my weapon with me, and then he berates him as being a stupid human being. Unbelievable.
Have you seen the Operation Fast and Furious stuff that's out there?
Yes.
That is, I don't know why this is not getting more attention. This is outrageous. And to give people a quick idea, originally it was called Project Gun Runner, and then they got the official name Operation Fast and Furious, where the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, was allegedly selling guns to people that would take them across the border. And they ended up in the hands of drug cartel members. Some of them were found at crime scenes, including a scene of a murdered U.S. Border Patrol agent. And now the most recent information that some of the people that they allowed to smuggle them across the border, again, it's our ATF that's involved, were people who were not able to purchase guns. They were felons.
And Doc, you say you don't understand or you don't know why this isn't getting any traction. It's because the media is protecting this administration, whether it's Eric Holder or whomever up there, the ATF. It's all from this stuff's coming from Washington D.C. It goes right on down.
This is such an obvious story, though, Danny. It's bizarre. It is so. This is wrong. There's no question it's wrong.
And anytime, but here's the sad thing, just like this tragedy over in Norway, anytime somebody uses a weapon and murders innocent people, there are those that want to blame the weapon. Well, a weapon doesn't kill anybody. It's someone behind that. It'd be not much different. You take a baseball bat or a knife or any other item that you want to use as a weapon and hurt someone. But for some reason, folks want to really attack the gun lovers. And thank God we have the Second Amendment. Our founding fathers had the wisdom to put that in there. And even some courts, though, Doc, do not want to read it for what it says. They want to impose their own beliefs on that. So it's a problem, and all of us need to stand together, and that's why I'm a proud life member of the NRA and member of Buckeye Firearms. In fact, I would give a plug this Saturday up in Powell, Ohio. The Ohioans for Concealed Carry are having their summer picnic, and they've asked me to come up and speak, so I'm excited about going up there and sharing lunch with a lot of others folks. They should have 300-400 people there at least that love the Second Amendment.
Oh, that's Saturday in Powell?
This Saturday in Powell, Ohio at 11:30 it starts, and I know that those folks were very instrumental in working with me and other legislators, Ron Magg, Jared Martin, a host of others, Terry Johnson, to move the ball down the field, as we say, restoring our Second Amendment rights here in Ohio.
Yeah, and it's funny, if you look at that shooter, and how many people did it end up killing? If somebody was able to protect themselves, they may have been able to stop him sooner.
Now, see, that's the logic, Doc. That's one of the problems you have, is looking at the thing logically.
That's always gets me in trouble, Danny.
That
gets me in trouble.
Common sense, and in Washington, that's the thing that's lacking. Doc, how can you spend every dollar that the federal government spends, 40 cents is borrowed money? You do that in your own checking account, your own bank, your own home, you're going to be broke, file bankruptcy. But for some reason, President Obama thinks that's absolutely okay, and I don't get it. The bottom line is that we're heading toward bankruptcy. We cannot afford these wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya and all this other stuff that's going on.
No, I absolutely agree with you there. And the statistic that just blew me away is that we overspend $2 million a minute. We overspend in America.
How do you get your arms around that? But I remember when I was in Iraq in 2008, we were looking at raising the debt ceiling, and President Obama made a speech as a senator, and he railed against raising the debt limit. And why is that on the media showing, back then he was against it, raising it up, and we were only 300, 400 billion deficit then with President Bush. Now it's ballooned up to 1.6 1.6 trillion. You start using these million, billion, and trillion, Doc, and all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, how many zeros is that? But 1.6 trillion in deficit spending a year. Unbelievable.
There's another 2 million since I first said that to you. There's another 2 million we just spent.
Unsustainable.
We overspend. It's almost, I think it's around $46,000 a second. I mean, you're overspending more than most Americans make as an income every year.
And let me give you another statistic. And I do taxes in my law office here in West Union, Adams County, and most people that file their taxes each year, it's something like almost 50% of the folks don't pay any income tax at all. Whatever they have withheld, they get it back, plus some if they have children from earned income credit. The top 2% wage earners in America pay almost 50% of the taxes paid to the government. And President Obama wants to raise those taxes again on those people. And those are the ones creating the jobs, Doc.
Well, but even if you take the jobs out, which I agree with, it's always this notion of fair share. They're already paying more than what you and I do by percentage, as well as in numbers. They're already paying their fair share. And I'm not one of those rich guys. I'm probably never going to be one of those rich guys.
Yeah, but you get up every morning, you go to work, and
you do your thing.
You do everything right. You're trying to save. You're trying to buy things. You're trying to provide for your family, educate your children, do all the things that in the past have been right, but now we are putting so many people up in the wagon in this entitlement mentality society. We're putting more people in that wagon, and how many's going to be left down here pulling the wagon? Horatio Alger, ever since I was little, they talk about the Horatio Alger story, success, rags to riches, okay? And that's the American dream. We want more for our children, more for us, and you get it by working hard. You don't wait for the first of the month for the check to come in, unless you're an elderly person or someone in the safety net that you can't take care of yourself. Well, then we should take care of them. But it's wrong to not require people that are able-bodied and so forth to be out there working. Okay, now what about the border? Here we go with the border. You don't have the border secured, so you got all these millions of illegal immigrants up here taking these jobs that Americans could be doing and making money. So look at the host of problems we got, Doc.
Do you remember the chicken in every pot? At one point in America, people were, if I can get meat every day, if people aren't beating me, if I actually just have a job, if I have the basics where people are leaving me alone, I have a pretty good life. But not now. Now it's, look at that guy over there. He has an iPhone. How come I don't have an iPhone?
Well, Doc, how about this? Down in Florida, they just passed legislation. I've requested a copy of it. To see about introducing legislation similar to this. But if you're on some type of state assistance, welfare used to be the word. We don't call it welfare anymore because that's got that's not politically correct. Okay?
You know we call it now? Fraud.
Well,
that's what we
well, there are those out there that need help, and Doc, but here we go. If you're down there, you're going to have to start being subject to drug screening. In the Marine Corps, I had to undergo drug testing all the time. Other jobs, you have to undergo drug testing. You apply for a job, you got to go through a drug screening. How come folks that are on welfare don't have to go through drug screening? If they're using our money, the taxpayers' money, and we're giving that money to them, shouldn't they be drug-free, Doc?
I am with you 100%. Are you telling me you're looking into this as a possibility that you could introduce this?
Absolutely. Florida's done it. Why can't Ohio do that?
Let me take a moment here and just give you one of those. Keep me posted on that one, okay?
Okay, Doc.
All right, State Rep Danny Bupp. Thanks, buddy.
All right, sir. Keep up the great work informing the people.
Thank you. It's Doc Thompson on 700 WLW. Doc Thompson, 700 WLW. I was talking a little while ago about people wanting to leave the tri-state. We had a guy call up and say, I'd leave in a second. Well, City of Cincinnati was rated one of the top 10 best cities to be in as far as investments and up and coming, and value city is what they called it. And there's a lot of things that go into it, but that's pretty good to be recognized by a national magazine as a value city. It means you got a lot going for you, low prices and whatnot. A guy called up, said he would leave in a second if he could get a job somewhere else. So are you here because you're stuck here, or do you like it here? Let's go to Hamilton now. Glenn, how are you?
Yeah, this is Jim Jimmy Bailey. They got the wrong name. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not going to tell you what I want to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do.
Right.
I'm going to get out of this conservative town with Sheriff Jones and his cronies. I'm headed to Chicago.
Going to Chicago.
This local Republican government is enough to keep the man down.
So what is it about Chicago that you like, that you think things would be better for you?
More democratic and free thinking, and ain't arresting every brother and Mexican on the street corner.
They're arresting every brother in Hamilton?
Oh, you don't know? Are you acting brand new?
No, I'm just saying I didn't realize they were arresting. Wait a minute.
They're keeping Mexicans out of there like crazy.
Jimmy, wait a minute. They're arresting every brother in Hamilton on the street corner.
Mexicans. You don't know about Sheriff Jones' agenda?
No. Jimmy, hang on a second. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm not talking about the Mexicans. If you're talking about illegals, yeah, I know Sheriff Jones is tough on illegals.
It's hard for a brother to get along in this area with this.
Now, wait a minute, Jimmy. Wait a second. If you're going to level something like that, we got to talk about it a little bit. Let's have a conversation. Let's conversate.
Yeah,
all right. I didn't realize that if you are a brother, what is a brother?
Are you going to act brand new? You don't know what a brother is?
I'm asking you specifically to make sure there's no misunderstanding. What is a brother?
You know, it's Afro-American.
An Afro-American?
Yeah.
An American with an Afro hairstyle?
You never heard the word Afro-American?
I've heard African-American. I've heard black. Are you talking just black people? Is that what you mean, Jimmy?
You know exactly what I mean. Why are you acting brand new?
I'm asking you if that's what you mean to make sure there's no misunderstanding.
I'm talking about...
You know me a peckerwood. So it's okay that you use peckerwood, which is a racial slur, but it's not right for others to? Or are you okay with other people using racial slurs? He left? He bailed? Oh, sorry, Jimmy. So he knows a peckerwood when he hears one. How would that fly if somebody said, I know a fill-in-the-blank other racial slur other than Caucasians? How would that fly? And apparently, if you are a non-peckerwood and you go to the city of Hamilton and you walk down the street, then you are going to be locked up. You're going to be locked up by Sheriff Jones. I didn't realize that. I mean, they should warn people that, maybe put up a sign. And for that reason, he's going to Chicago. Have you seen the city of Chicago? Have you seen what they have going for them and what they do not? Well, good luck to you. I'm glad you're taking off, because anybody that's that big of a racist, I really don't want you in the area. Let's go to Greg in Hamilton. You're on 700 WLW.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, sir.
Good. Actually, I'm calling about Hamilton because I think I've traveled all around the world. I've lived in China 3 or 4 years, and I think Hamilton and the Midwest in general is one of the greatest places to live. It's about as close as you can get to Mayberry.
Are you white?
You know what? I don't want to get into any politics or whatever.
No, I'm just wondering, because that comes from somebody who's white. The way I understand it, if you're not white, you're going to be locked up in Hamilton. So I just wanted to make sure I understood.
I just wanted to just put a 2 cents in on Hamilton, how we've got the best water in the world. If you have a chance to come up here, we really do. It was rated by an international water test a couple years ago. We've got Pyramid Hill.
That's what you're hanging your hat. I mean, it's good that you have good water, but that seems like a little down on the list of things that I would go there to try.
Well, we've got great water. We've got an international sculpture park, and we've got Miami University right here.
No, those are all good things, right? Yeah.
And I'm just saying, every part, it's, people have different experiences in Hamilton, but I think Hamilton is about as close as you can get to Mayberry. It's a great place to live. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thanks for the comments, Greg. Appreciate it. More comments coming up. 700 WLW.